Astral projection, otherwise known as an out-of-body experience, is the ability to take your consciousness, the very essence of what you are, for you to use, to traverse all time and space. You can venture into the spirit world. You can venture into your Akashic records. You can venture to places and realms that only exist in the astral plane, like Shambhala. You'll find immortals and other beings who know how to do all that I'm about to say today, and so much more. These otherworldly teachers can not only tell you how to live life in a more harmonious way, but they can also tell you how to use your energies to activate hidden powers and siddhis, especially if you take what they say to heart. Astral projection. A lot of people, it's been an uptick, want to learn how to do this. You can find vast resources online, but what I've noticed is that there are 3 elements when it comes to astral projection that every technique has. If they're not done correctly, your brain won't get you there. I'm going to tell you them all in detail here. Okay, I'm Ryan JC, Ryan James Sir, a spiritual life coach. I've recently been told that I'm more like a spiritual mentor because I teach from experience as opposed to, well, book-based logic, which I'm perfectly fine without. Astral projection. I've been doing this my entire life. I will not tell you my age, but just know that I've been doing this for a very, very long time. When I was born, I wasn't completely scrubbed. I knew things that I shouldn't have known. I had abilities that apparently didn't exist, like mind reading, as well as seeing dead people. As a baby, I couldn't even speak English yet, but I knew what everyone was saying. I knew the scenario I was born into because I had set it up before I incarnated here. I was very much awake. Time skip. 13 years into my life, and trauma, along with physical changes during puberty, completely suppressed my ability. Not just that, but also learning the ways of the world. It's like the more I became logical, the more this right-brained activity suppressed. I became kind of normal, except for the every now and then, the occasional seeing ghosts. Dead people terrified me for the most part. It took a while for me to get over it. For 3 years after the age of 13 to 16, I lived like most normal people again. However, on my 16th birthday, I drowned. When I drowned, I got taken to a place where I had the option to leave this place completely, but I chose not to. When I came back, all of the suppressed abilities came back with me, including the ability to astral project. At this point, I was 16, and it took me about 4 years to figure out what my brain was doing, to figure out what my body was doing, in order to come up with a very mechanical technique that allowed me to leave the body. As a matter of fact, over that span of 4 years, I came up with so many techniques that it became easier and easier for me to understand the mechanics of astral projection. Other abilities came back too, but for the sake of this video, let's just keep it within the range of out-of-body experiences. Leaving the body. Yeah, there seem to be 3 main areas when it comes to astral projection, also known as an out-of-body experience. 3 main areas to focus on, and depending on whether or not you're able to do these 3 correctly, that will determine how good you become at astral projection. So let's break them down so that you don't miss a beat, so that you understand what's going on. Perhaps whether you're just starting off or whether you've been doing this for a while, you'll be able to implement what I've been saying today into your technique, allowing you to have success more so than, hopefully, my camera won't die during the process. The first thing all astral projection techniques have in common is relaxation. However, they're doing it incorrectly, more specifically at the wrong time. You relax to dump the stresses out. Yeah, you don't want to bring that crap into your practice because it will distract you. Whether it's mental stress or overthinking, those neurotic thoughts impede on your practice. Whether it's physical stress, you just need to relax. You're too tense, or even emotional stress, you need to dump all of that before you start. Most people will have you practice breath work as a way of doing this, but they'll have you practice it right when you're about to get started with astral projection. The problem with this is that it grounds your awareness to your physical body, having the opposite effect of, well, leaving the body. To leave the body, your attention needs to be off of the body, outside of the body, preferably. If your attention is based on or anchored on your nose or your lungs, you're going to anchor, you're going to get stuck. You'll know when this is happening because you'll feel acute pains that become inflammatory. Hard to miss, your joints will start to hurt, or perhaps you'll become really hot or feel the covers on your neck. Yeah, or saliva will drip down and constantly tickle your throat, making you cough, coughing yourself out of the process. So what do? I'm not saying relaxation isn't important. It is. Dumping stressors is important, but you do this at least 2 to 3 hours before you attempt to astral project, because then within that time frame, you'll find yourself calibrating again, having your awareness naturally come off of your body as you start paying attention to your phone, TV, or food, getting ready for the next step in this series of steps that all these practices have in common. Second, you need to have a very clear understanding as to what it is you're trying to do. Why? Because when you know what it is you're trying to do, your brain will know what you're trying to do. More specifically, by extension, your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind knows everything that you're saying and or doing at any given point in time, including what you're thinking when you intend to leave the body. What ends up happening is you mentally have a thought to do it. That mental thought now moves across into your causal body. I don't want to get too specific here because there's a process that runs parallel to what your subconscious mind is doing. I'm going to try and explain them both together. When your mental mind goes into your causal body, maybe this is before you even tried to leave the body. Perhaps you're just hearing about it for the first time. Your causal body, which is known as the karmic body, cause and effect. As you then seek out in the world books and resources to find out how to do this, because you're trying to reach for an experience that you have yet to have. Yet, that's not been, impressioned into your energy bodies. Now, in the same vein, from a different perspective, your subconscious mind, let's say you have the mental intention to astral project. It's listening to everything you say and do. What most people do is they try to visualize the experience so that their brain can better understand what it is they're trying to do. Most people don't realize that they're doing this for this reason in the first place. Most people just think that they're trying to visualize it to somehow trigger it later on, or at least for them to understand what it is they're trying to do. But really, you're trying to paint a picture for your subconscious mind, clearly indicating what it is you're trying to do. Drop into a deep state of consciousness, separate out of the body, get up and move forward into the astral realm. Depending on how clearly you can paint that picture across to your subconscious mind, that will determine how well your brain is able to recreate that experience for you, okay? To trigger that experience for you, the brain knows how to do all psychic abilities. It's up to you to be able to tell it, to suggest to it which psychic ability you'd like to experience. Once you've experienced the psychic ability, that actual experience now becomes impressioned into your causal body. Then the next time you try to leave your body, rather than going into your mental mind with, how do I do this? Your causal body will just know cause and effect. The energy spurs up and it becomes a movement of the mind, a movement of your energy. You can just feel into it, like hitting a tennis ball that you've hit 1,000 times. You can just slide out because it's become internalized information at this point in your causal body. But at first, your causal body will make you look for resources. Probably made you click on this video today. So I hope I haven't lost you too much. I tried to explain two different things parallel to each other, but essentially, the main point I want to make here is you need to be able to visualize what it is you're trying to do, with the knowing that your subconscious mind is also paying attention and that you're feeling information for which to then proceed to the next step with. I'll talk about that in a second, but first off, let's talk about the visualization aspect of this, or astral projection. Many techniques out there talk about visualization. I've made some that often sidestep visualization because a lot of people will accidentally trip themselves up. How will they trip themselves up? They'll visualize what they feel astral projection will be like. And so when they visualize themselves sliding out of the body, they'll actually think that that's what it's like, completely failing to recognize the fact that they're just suggesting this act to their brain. They then expect the astral projection experience to be exactly like they imagined in their mind. They come back to their body and then they wait. But the problem is, if they've never had an astral projection experience before, then what ends up happening is they send the wrong impression across to their subconscious mind. The subconscious mind gets a more imaginary, elusive experience instead. It then thinks, oh, he wants to have this kind of dreamlike experience. So your subconscious mind makes you lucid dream instead. It creates a dreamlike world because it's getting the impression that that's what you're aiming for. You're using your imagination to feel an actual projection experience rather than a real experience. There are ways to fix that. I'll tell you about them in a second. But if you've had an astral projection experience before, you're in the clear because all we've got to do at this stage is simply remember times when you've left the body, even if by accident. Then your subconscious mind can use that as a reference and trigger this latent ability. Now, if you've never astral projected before, what you've got to do is engage in exercises that allow you to somewhat experience the astral body before you actually leave the body. That way, your brain has a nice reference for what it is you're trying to do because you've been practicing separation exercises day in and day out. I have a whole bunch within my courses on my website, and I may even have some on my YouTube channel. Look up how to put your hand through a wall. I think I have that. I don't think I deleted it. I think it's still there. It will show you how to access your phantom body, which will then allow you to experience what it's like to have something separate out of your hand. That can paint a nice image for your subconscious mind, too. Otherwise, I have an extensive course on how to do this. Many exercises on how to feel this for beginners who have no idea at all what it's like to experience the astral body. The third thing is letting go. Most, if not all, techniques will talk about letting go. The problem here, and this is kind of like a problem, is that I have my theories as to why. I think it's because we've been educated to constantly do so much work. The issue is that we obsess about controlling the situation, controlling the process. We have to make sure that we have a hand in every little step of the process with control freaks when it comes to astral projection. In the beginning, it's kind of pointless. Let me tell you why. You can control as much as you know up to a certain point, but then when it comes to letting go, that's your cue to let your subconscious mind take hold and carry you through the rest of the process. You've been suggesting this nice experience to your subconscious mind. Now you need to just let it take the reins, however it chooses to make you leave the body. That's a fruitful thought for the most part. If you find that, perhaps it makes you phase out of the body teleport more often than not, and you like that way of doing it, you can simply think about how it's making you feel while you leave in that particular way. Maybe you suddenly lose your sense of space in your room, and you start to feel another sense of space come into your awareness. Think about what that's like, and then, when you get to the hypnagogic state, you can intentionally do that again. You can sit in the hypnagogic state, feel the space around you, place your awareness downstairs, feel that space, and then will yourself to experience more of downstairs materializing around you. You feel yourself facing from your physical body down into your living room. There's a way to re-engineer the things that happen to you by your subconscious mind, simply by paying attention to the many ways in which it makes you leave. Then you'll be able to catalog so many different ways to leave the body and instigate them at will. But that comes with time. It comes with letting the subconscious mind trigger this latent ability so many times that you're able to really pay attention and witness what's going on so that you can encourage the same type of result. Eventually, you'll come up with your favorite way of leaving the body. Letting go means realizing that you've done enough and that this ability is going to come from your subconscious mind at this point. This doesn't mean that, it's a dud, or that there is no actual technique out there because you have to wait for your subconscious mind to do it for you. It's not like that at all. Trust me, you'll be activating the ability to quite a large extent, 80 of the way. 20 is your subconscious mind. So work with your subconscious mind. Don't try to trick it. Realize that it's listening to you and try to paint a really good picture, and I'm sure you'll leave your body. I'm Ryan James Cropper, Spiritual Life Coach. If you would like to learn how to leave your body, I have free videos on my YouTube channel. I also teach this over Zoom calls and have numerous courses on my website. Okay, that's what I've got to say. Take care, and I'll speak to you pretty soon. Peace.